person
Okay.
to be able to help me with that.
Give me a call tomorrow afternoon,
Okay.
because I told him he's got me for an hour tonight.
Well,
'cause,
no problem.
this
It was just concerning something I think
know.
my daughter and you might have in common that I thought maybe you might give us some hindsight on some things that you might be looking. Were you ever diagnosed?
So it should
with Crohn's
automatically
disease?
pop
not
up?
Crohn's and
Because it's not.
diverticulitis.
And they're not sure if she has it, but she was in the hospital for almost 10 days
Okay.
dealing with it. And we're kind of curious if you might give us some insight. We might, some things to look at.
Oh, yeah, this is it. It's
Okay,
on.
it's on, okay, good, thank you.
She had a perforated.
Okay,
So-
we're live.
Can people, you had a Zoom
I'll talk to you
meeting or
later.
something that
I'm at
people
the meeting.
maybe were supposed to be able to come in on?
No,
No,
Oh, I
that's
thought
No,
you said.
it said it was canceled.
I'm at the meeting here.
Oh,
All right.
Oh, I thought there was an invitation for people.
there
to
might have been with the
advise
Google thing, but that wasn't for, that was just, would have been
I will
us.
Okay.
Tell you, I will give you a call back. on that, okay?
them. So this
I'll
was
text you later.
posted, right, though?
Yeah,
In case somebody wanted to come, they could come?
yep.
Yeah, I posted it on Facebook.
Thank you, Sean.
Of course, I didn't print the agenda off.
Hello, this is the Global News
Okay, we
Podcast
don't need to
from
hear that.
BBC
Sorry
World
about that.
Service with reports and
Sorry about that. Podcast, we don't need to hear from.
I forgot. I printed all the other stuff at the agenda, so we're just gonna wing it.
Is it on your phone from sending it?
I don't know, I'll
You
check.
could just go on. to
Well,
the-
with it being just a workshop,
Oh, it'd
we
be in
just
the
have to take roll call and
Yeah, roll
Yeah,
call.
that should be about it. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Okay, call to order, Pledge of Allegiance.
5:30.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You want to take roll call?
All right. Kathleen Martin,
Here.
Courtney Coster, here. Kurt Miskovich,
Here.
Patrick Feeney,
Here.
Sean Grugel,
Here.
Donna McBride.
Yeah.
Is this the appropriate time to excuse Joe?
I'll just say
Yeah.
Joe
Yeah, that's
Hutchins.
fine. Yes.
Okay, Joe called and was mistaken that the meeting started at 5. He was here, Sorensen back and forth. But because of the timing on his meal, he had to go home
Okay.
at this point. But he did call to check in to say that he may or may not make it.
Okay.
So I make a motion then to excuse Joe
Do we have,
Hutchins.
I thought with the workshop, we don't make any,
Okay,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
there's
don't
an
need to.
agenda and like all this
Yeah.
other stuff, so I'm like,
Well, if it is, I second
I
it.
just want to make sure that.
no, I don't, it's just
for
a
the
workshop.
record,
Yes.
That Joe has asked to be excused this
Okay.
evening.
So, I printed off a bunch of various information. I sent that to you. Hopefully you guys had a chance to look at it. So I was just wanting to gather what we might want to vote on or some sort of consensus on what we should bring to the next meeting so we can vote on that. If anybody has any kind of thoughts on where we should start, do we just want to go through?
If you look at the one that you sent out, the Village of Lake Holly, Hallie for the record. When you look at the description, this is the one I was looking at that you sent out to us.
Okay.
And in my opinion, when you look at this, this is everything that we need minus one thing. And I think number 15 on this list should potentially be the ability to write grants. I think if that was added to this job description here, when you look at this, I mean, it literally is everything that we should be looking for in a park supervisor. The other ones are pretty generalized, but this one gets right down to specifics as to the examples and typical tasks of work.
Yeah.
That's what I was just digging through here, looking for it. That's the one
Yeah.
At the very
that I was
end.
drawn to.
Of course, that was the very last one.
The very
Yeah.
last-
Is it just
Oh,
one
the
page?
very, okay. that
No,
was-
there's
No,
two
it's 2
pages.
pages
Two
for it.
pages to it, yeah. Okay, so I must have messed this up when I opened it up. But yeah, that was the one that I was drawn to,
And then this
too.
one.
Same reason, that's definitely.
Right, I mean, because when you look at examples of work, number one, direct the overall planning, operation, and management of departments, programs, and facilities.
Yep,
That's perfect. That's also going to include scheduling.
right.
Lead department employees with an emphasis on employee development, team building, and innovation. Again, what we're looking for. Ensure safe, clean, and customer-focused parks, facilities, and recreational activities. That's exactly what we want for our park system here. We could probably scratch number 4 since we have a bookkeeper, which is the
Right.
budget and accounting. Number 5, engage in public and active participation in the parks program and build community support and partnerships with schools, civic organizations, sports associations, nonprofits, and other stakeholders.
Sean, may I interject? I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I do have something to say on number 4. At some point, weren't we planning on just having the person that is taking care of the books right now as a temporary person?
I would rather keep it separate from the park director or park supervisor, whatever we
So
get.
you're
So that's a
saying that you think there should be
separation
two
of,
separate,
just to keep a separation so it's got
Jobs.
the check and
okay,
balances.
all right,
Yeah, but she really, he or she really should have some knowledge.
right.
Yes, I
Oh,
agree with that.
understanding, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
that-
because
yeah,
they'll
yeah,
help set the
understanding,
budget.
Yeah.
So, but
And
what I'm
just be able
saying,
to keep 2 eyes out.
yes, exactly.
Maybe establish communication between bookkeeper and,
Well, they would have, still have
Or-
to be.
Or
oversee-
reword it.
Yeah, that-
Reword
oversee
it,
the
have-
bookkeeping.
that could go with number
oversee.
1, under
Right.
direct overall planning, operation, that could also include those expenses in there.
And you might reword number 4 to say, have knowledge of budgeting and.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best way.
That would be
Well, I
easy,
don't-
Agreed.
you
Yeah.
know.
The overseeing the budget, doesn't that come from the board?
It
Well,
it
yeah.
It
does,
but
but provide
They have to
insight then
explain
maybe.
it, Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Provide
working
insight
with
and working
the
with
bookkeeper
the
bookkeeper,
to
yeah.
ensure, yeah.
so how, do we
How
want
about
to word
have
that?
knowledge of bookkeeping and accounting?
No,
Or
they don't
just
need to
accounting?
have,
Or
No, understanding, I think, would understanding be?
Yeah, like a basic
Yeah, just a
understanding.
basic
understanding of,
understanding.
Yeah.
you know,
Because,
In
you
other
know, at
words,
some
you're-
point, they may have to make some kind of, decisions on
Right.
expenditures and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
if there's a basic understanding, I think.
Be able
we
to
can
read
find
the
with
balance
the
sheet
help
to
of
know.
a
right, but they
licensed
don't need to know how to do
bookkeeper.
the
Yeah.
balancing and the
Right.
reconciliation and the
Yeah.
different reports. Like, I don't want them to have to do the audit.
that-
I would
Right.
rather have the bookkeeper do that, that way it's done and
Yeah,
taking care of the
and it makes
taxes.
sense.
So
only
we
have
have a
one
company
person.
that does the audit.
But they have to go through the bookkeeper, they have to look at our books and,
Right. When you look at number 6, that's perfect. Operate mowers, tractors, vehicles, and other small equipment.
yep.
7, pretty self-explanatory, power tools in the park landscape. And assist in the routine maintenance of equipment. We have Joe for that, but Joe's not going to be able to do that forever.
Right, that's my concern.
Prepare and maintain athletic fields and related facilities is perfect.
Yep.
Clean the restrooms and pick up litter around the parks and medians. Of course, she's also, or he or she will have the help
Right.
available to help them
Right.
with those routines.
Not
We
lemon.
do not have an irrigation system that I'm aware of.
We don't.
No.
So scratch that.
It's, yeah.
Water repair and fertilize lawns, plant and prune trees and shrubs, rake leaves, et cetera, et cetera. Again, that could be underneath 13 with its general maintenance, construction, and repair. 14 maintains records of fertilizers and chemicals used. Now, do we have to keep records of that? Like, wouldn't the
Probably by state
FDA or
Yeah.
state law would have?
I don't
If it's a
think
public
Tony ever did
facility.
use any fertilizers and stuff because it's just bad for the
But
environment.
would
in general.
mosquito control fall under something like that?
And she did do
Yours
some
could
weed
be-
killing
yeah, weed
stuff
killing
too,
and
but
that.
she
Right.
did have that.
So
But
that's something
doesn't
we'd
it-
have to check into.
Yes.
I would like to add something, Sean, and the rest of the commission here. Operate mowers, tractors, vehicles, and other small equipment, number 6, professionally. You know, there's a lot of expense in these things that the person would be operating.
Right.
So in a proficient manner, professionally, something that says that they should know how to do these things.
I agree, but I don't like the word professional.
How about safety?
A working knowledge?
Yeah.
Trying to think of a better word.
Yeah.
Just experience.
Yeah, maybe experience.
I was gonna say,
And I would use the term, like, be specific about your mower, because there's a big difference between your homeowner grade mower
Right.
versus a big commercial zero turn.
do you-
Yeah.
would you consider the small items, would that cover that though?
Weed
That-
whip, things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you're not talking about a major tractor.
Well, we
or
have,
combine
well,
or-
no, we have a tractor.
Yeah.
We have the zero turn.
What about proficient in
there's
commercial
four-wheeler.
and personal?
Yes, that's probably better.
Grade,
That's great,
Yes.
right.
machine, you know, maintenance.
So can we add,
parts,
can you
machines.
take that down as a note, Courtney? Proficient, what was that you said?
Proficient in professional and personal
In, right.
Landscaping equipment?
landscaping equipment. Yeah, that could work.
Proficiently in-
And then, of
Say
course,
personal and professional.
yeah. Then, of course, number 15th,
Professional grade.
which isn't listed, ability to write
Grants.
grants.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we can, yep. Experience.
That'd be great. Experience a
And
plus.
understanding of
Yes.
grant writing and, other
So it's
available revenues
Well,
of money.
see, now you're going into job specification.
experience.
This
Okay.
is what, how do I, there was a
Oh,
one
yeah,
page I
so
gave you about the difference between a job description and job specification.
Able
Okay.
to write
So it's,
grants.
the job specification is saying what we're
General.
looking for, like how many years, are we looking for somebody with experience? And this is more like what,
An outline of basics.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
So I'm just saying, when you look at this job description, I think it pretty much nails everything that we're looking for. When I read this, there wasn't too many other things I could come up with except for the ability to write grants. So,
No, I agree. When I looked at it, that was the only one that, everything else was kind of like you could take a little here and there. This one I could look at and say, you know, we could actually just use it if we had to, you know.
So, but there
Right.
is the next section that says required knowledge, skills, and abilities. Would that then the grant writing and the professional use of the equipment, et cetera, be in that?
I think you need to make the grant writing separate because that's, you know.
You mean specified on top in the numbers?
Yeah, in the numbers, I would say that's, wouldn't you?
I think
It
that-
would be there.
Examples of work, grant writing maybe should be on one of those.
yeah, maybe it
Okay.
should be there,
Oh.
but then I would also list it under the examples of work. And instead of putting it at number 15, I really think we should probably put that up at number 1.
One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or two?
Yeah, because.
probably
Two or
two.
three.
Because it would be your natural
it's near the
thinking
top, but it's
of
not number
ascending
So
importance. That's
if we
true.
bumped everything down one after two, that would be where the grant writing would go in?
Well, I think it might have to actually go after 3, number 4, because I'd rather, if we were numbering this in what would be the most important thing, I'd rather think they ensure that they're clean and customer, because the grant writing really shouldn't take
Right,
that much time.
okay. Well, so could it fit into 4? Budget
Yeah.
and account for all revenue and expenditures for the department and identify opportunities for efficiencies and
Grants,
grant,
opportunities.
Yep.
grant
Opportunity. Yep.
opportunities or
Yep.
grant?
That would
okay,
work.
So it could fit in there.
Yeah. And they would help with the budget and account for the, they
Right.
still would have to do all the other stuff, I know we were saying we should take it out, but I think after looking at it, I think that should still stay along with the grant writing.
And then when you go to the second page, Kurt, of course, for you with your copy and paste skills, kill the Wisconsin motor vehicle
I
license.
just wrote it down.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything, but. Glad you did.
Then wouldn't that be though?
I was nice enough to go through and gather this stuff.
Guys, wouldn't that be though, doesn't the operator of the heavier equipment need a CDL at all, or?
Only
no?
if you're driving a truck,
Okay,
so I wouldn't think we need a CDL.
No,
Okay.
no.
It's a commercial driver's
That's
license.
on the road. type
Yeah.
thing, Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the rest of the second page, I mean, communication skills is great. Then it goes into manual labor.
Yeah.
I mean, I really honestly believe, Kurt, that this was the best one that you pulled up.
I think this was the one I was reviewing too, that when I saw this, because I just pulled a lot of these just to get different takes on the different positions to give us an idea. I also started to put together a spreadsheet of like the different salaries that I saw out there for the different positions.
Yeah.
To get an idea of what the salaries would be about. So we'll have to look at that a little bit closer too, once we finalize this, and go through that.
There's gonna have to be some, cutting and pasting up in the organizational relationships as well, because
Yes.
it would report to us.
Right.
Right, the Parks and Rec Commission.
Well,
Oh,
And
yeah,
then-
not the tourism.
so is
Right.
this the one that you guys like?
Yes.
Yes.
So do you want me to go ahead and take this and massage it so it fits what our needs are?
Yeah. I thought
And then we
that's
can
what- yeah.
review
And
this
then-
at the next
Yeah.
meeting?
And then
Required knowledge,
create a
skills,
draft,
abilities.
Yes.
send it out for proofreading.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, because I
Yeah, that's
can't
it.
type.
Right.
Oh, I can type, but I
Well-
can't spell.
Well, if I see, Wisconsin motor vehicle license, we're gonna have an issue.
Yeah.
And I want to be on the
Parks and Rec
tourism
and
board if
tourism
that.
liaison.
Just
So,
under,
yeah.
required knowledge, skills, and abilities. I
Just
think
passed
that would be
house this,
heavier.
Last week.
Which one are you talking about?
Where they filmed that.
Required knowledge.
Yeah.
Oh,
skills,
okay.
and abilities, like,
And my brother's day. if I can get a
experience
picture
or
of it.
knowledge to use Microsoft Office, stuff like that.
Um,
Office stuff too. Because they have to occasionally write notes and stuff for people.
Well, I would think that goes with the grant writing and stuff, but I don't,
Well,
it's not a bad idea.
it's right underneath communication skills, ability to write, read, and comprehend simple instructions. You would think that would go underneath.
Well, but
A
what she's
computer.
talking is, do they know how to use Microsoft Word to do
Microsoft, yeah.
the grants and all
General
those
knowledge
things,
of
which is,
computer,
I,
whatever, because otherwise you're going to be up there.
Well,
5
then,
seconds.
what are you looking for, like Microsoft Word, Excel?
Just
Just
the
organizing,
general
like,
office.
in
Yeah,
depth,
basic
I would
computer
say.
processing.
yeah. Well, no, like the Office, so you got PowerPoint, so if they need to do any kind of PowerPoint presentations or something like that, that would be helpful. I don't think it's a requirement, but I think that would be helpful.
Yeah. for
Yeah.
sure, because-
No,
yeah.
I'm not gonna. I guess when you're putting something like that in, you want to make it that that wouldn't necessarily be the absolute, well, you don't know that, you might be finding everything else, but we're not going to consider you because of that, because that is something that could be taught,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But it would help if they
No,
have
no,
those
that's
those
true.
skills. I mean, we're not looking for somebody who does the networking. I mean, that's another thing we're gonna have to cross at some point.
Right.
Is there any, mention, or would it fall under something else, the, social media, website, maintenance, the maintaining,
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea to
Yeah,
put like
that would
them
be
taking
good.
care of the
Social
social
media.
media. Now I did you all get the email, did I send it today for Amy Childers?
Yeah.
Sending,
Yes.
so she
did
was
not see that.
asking to be a part-time, program coordinator, so we'll have to discuss that at the next meeting.
Yeah.
But she also said she would take care of the social media and things like that, so, I'd rather have the park director worry about, and not so much, I don't know.
Well, if they have a knowledge of, again,
Yes.
'cause so if, some kind of cool program's coming up and they can announce
the
it, or a
information
grant
out.
and they can announce it, or a Frisbee tournament. and they-
Yeah.
so they have the ability to know how to do those things, I think is,
Should we
it
also
could just
add
fall
events?
under,
The problem is
Knowledge
we're
and
looking,
abilities.
we're looking for
Superman.
a unicorn. Is
Yeah.
what we're looking
Yeah,
for.
I was just gonna
I
say
mean,
that.
we're looking for a computer genius. We're looking for a farmhand. We're looking for a mechanic. We're
Right.
looking for all these things. And
That's why I was kind of steering away from having them know,
specifics.
yeah.
And you keep in mind too that this unicorn is going to cost you a considerable amount of money, so that's going to,
So I mean,
I
I've been
almost think that
trying to
less-
get the webpage set up and going, but I just haven't had enough time to sit down. I have a
So-
basic one up, but
Has our bookkeeper come up with a general, idea of what the offering could be for this position?
right now, the last thing that I know, we have not got the last payment from the township For the millage, we have currently $28,000 right now sitting in the bank. I don't know what that last payment, I had talked to Karen Winchester to see if they haven't gone through and done whatever they need to do for the taxes.
Okay.
So they haven't got that,
So we
information
really
to
don't
me.
even know.
No, not yet.
What
But we
we
will
could
know by
offer.
the end of December.
Okay.
So we will have that information for December, so that will give us an idea of,
So Kurt, you said you had researched a little bit what the general salary is for a park
it's
director?
going about $25 to $30 an hour. So, or about, what was it, about 33 to 50, $60,000,
Okay.
depending on what the title was.
Right.
So the lowest was like 30,000 and the highest was about 60,000. And that's depending on, if you do a park director, it's
Mhm. How
going
many
up to 60.
employees, et cetera?
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
How many parks,
Right,
size of parks?
yes.
Now is the medical and all of that all
Right.
put in?
You're right, so that's
So-
admin.
So that was the nice thing with Amy. Amy did offer to work part-time with no benefits, to get the programs going, which I think would alleviate a lot of the problems for a park supervisor. So she could handle that because she's doing part of that, so,
Yeah, she's doing a great job with the
yes.
logo. She's
So,
got tons of
Oh, that
students.
right.
I was so
And
confused.
you already have somebody
So I
who's
think
in that
if we
mode,
can
so it's
discuss
not
more,
like-
make a possibility of what we want to do, but we'd have to come up with a job description for a program coordinator and get that out and have other people apply. So,
But now that she's given us an idea of what someone's willing to do,
Right.
that description might be a lot easier
Yes.
to write
Yes.
down. You know,
And
it's
a
like,
lot shorter than this one, that's for
You know.
sure.
right.
Because that would be pretty cut and dry.
So are
duty.
we, other barring any unforeseen circumstances?
The prodigal son.
There's Joe.
are we
That's the
going-
same thing you got, Joe.
Don't call me the prodigal son.
You want your name?
Don't give him
Or you
his
want
name,
mine?
you can't.
Don't throw it at me.
I'm getting tired of being used and abused by you. How
I
many
have
people
no
received-
idea what you're talking
How many
about.
people received information before today about this packet?
I've been getting emails. and
Emails.
whatnot.
Emails.
And I have not had time to deliver it. I'm sorry, and I
I feel like
apologize.
I'm left out of the decision-making of this board, and I'm, how many fingers?
I have no idea.
7.
Have
There's
no
7
idea.
of us in here, each of us are different. If you can't accept that I don't have a computer or a cell phone, and you can't do your job as a chairperson, get with it. I'm tired of it. And I think the public should know that too.
That's fine. Go for it. You know what? I do the best I can with the amount of time I have, and
And I
I've
try to
done.
do the best for the people of Holly. And if I'm not informed, if I'm left out, how can I make decisions?
And you have it right there.
Yes.
I went out of my way to try to make sure I got it to you.
Are you-
Okay?
Who else
I
is
have
he?
work I have to do,
Yeah, so
and
do
I
I.
have things that I have
Hey
personal.
guys,
I
let's
have
keep
to
this
do.
as a professional
Yes.
board, please, okay?
Thanks for leaving me out.
If we need to have discussion after, you guys can have discussion after,
Okay.
okay? So, Joe, just to get you up to speed as to what we've been talking about,
Pull it out for you.
there's a sheet in here from the village of Lake Holly, Hallie, Wisconsin. Kurt pulled this up, and it goes through pretty much what we're looking for. I would think in a park supervisor. If you wanted to take a look at that, we did make a couple changes in the examples of work. I believe in number 4, we added the ability to write grants.
We struck number 11.
We struck number 11.
Yes, we
We
do.
don't have an irrigation system.
And
That's as far as we've gotten so far.
We added,
Oh, Courtney,
computer
Skills,
skills.
Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, those kind of things.
possibly social media and promoting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all that we've gone through. We were talking about the potential salary ranging anywhere from $30,000 up to possibly, what did you say?
About 60.
About $60,000, but that's nothing we're gonna know until the end of December. When the bookkeeper gets back with us,
But we need to get the amount from the
Millage.
township.
you know,
So we'll get that deposited in the bank by the end of December.
and that's essentially all we've done. Required certificates and licenses, I told them they're gonna have to change it from Wisconsin to Michigan. And on the second sheet, Joe basically goes through the physical demands, and I thought that was pretty,
Cut and dry.
Thorough.
yeah, pretty cut and dry. So,
I know you haven't had much of a chance to
No,
go over these things,
No.
but do you have anything that, so far, that you
No.
see or want to add?
no. I will pass.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, Joe, just as you were coming down, I was just going to ask so we're going to reread this at the next meeting with the changes in it and see if it's,
Acceptable,
acceptable on
and if
that.
there's any changes.
So my next question was going to be, is if it's acceptable, we are going to vote to approve it at the next meeting after we read it and decide it's what we want?
yeah, there's no vote happening here because this
No,
is
no,
just a
no, no, I
workshop.
understand that.
Right.
What I'm saying is
Yeah.
that the
If that's
next meeting will be
acceptable,
our decision.
that's what I
It'll
was,
be
Okay,
January.
that's gonna be, yeah,
which will be January.
January,
Right.
okay,
and
that's,
then
I just wanna
we're
make
on
sure.
for
that-
February.
Right, I just wanna make sure we're clear on that, that's,
Right.
you know, this will be a done deal by the next meeting,
Well,
you know? You know?
yeah, the,
Unless we got changes or something
description.
coming up.
Well, yeah,
with
that's,
a
well,
job
that's
description.
the question, and that, you know, Joe, if you had questions on it, there is going to be another period to ask questions and to have some input on it, that it isn't, you know.
I think because we're a board, it should also say something about working with the Parks Commission.
right, instead of the,
Tourism
Right.
Commission.
Tourism.
And I
Yeah,
don't know
well,
if
yeah,
it needs to
tourism
be
on that.
mentioned, but when we all came, or started, you know, when we were elected or appointed or whatever, Tony always, you know, printed us information, and I don't know if that needs to be mentioned, it's just part of working with the Parks Commission, but
Yeah.
that was really
Not just-
helpful, especially
Yeah.
if you're new, right?
Oh, that would,
But that's
maybe
all
put it in
information
there,
that's
that might be
Sorensen.
something too, that a monthly, or a report to the Parks Commission.
With what's been accomplished.
Yeah, what's been
A
accomplished.
summary.
Yeah, summary of the activity, you know.
which is
Summary
what
of
Tony used to
activities.
do when
Activities,
he used to
right,
say-
yeah.
Tony used
Yeah.
to say, you know, the park directorors report, as we all.
Right, exactly.
It's actually
Right.
already
Is
under
it-
communication
Yeah, 10
skills.
meetings.
Is it, okay. so-
Ability to effectively present information in one-on-one or small group situations. That's,
Well, yeah, but if we're going to want this person to come to our meetings to give
It
us a
says it up
report, it
top.
should be mentioned for sure.
Attend park recreation,
Meeting.
Oh, okay, I didn't even see it.
Yeah,
I'm
okay,
sorry.
yeah, then that would,
Parks and Rec, monthly meetings, we gotta strike the tourism commission thing.
Yeah, that's weird. Maybe put other entities, because there's occasionally stuff with the township.
well, the township, you got the bookkeeper that's gonna be going for the
Budget.
reviews. I mean,
What I'm talking about is, we're a township parks association, so occasionally George, Karen might, they do some things, like they sign our checks. Not George, I mean,
that's part,
Karen and
that's
whoever.
part of the administrative.
yeah, it's
That's
part of the
part of the
administrative.
administrative end of it.
Right.
That's-
yeah, the park supervisor would just report to us.
Right,
George
right,
and Karen, and they
Yeah,
have
they would
nothing
be-
to,
The other part is just part of their normal, would be part of their normal duties, if you have to interact with the township officials.
Right,
that's-
because that was one of the.
Yeah, they're not
I just
reporting
wasn't
to
sure
them,
if
they're
it had to
just-
be something
No.
that was
And
specific.
then
Taking care of
Kurt,
business.
across the top, it says supervisor of parks and recreation, parks and recreation, I think we can strike the second, parks and recreation, right?
That's fine.
well, it's not like this is the official.
Right, this isn't
Right,
the
yeah.
official, but yeah,
Right.
that's fine. Like I said, I'll try to come up with a one that is acceptable to the group, and hopefully it's okay on the first draft.
So we should insert Holly Township Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
Joe, I got a question for you, actually. Do we have to, like, when it comes to, like, fertilizers and chemicals, do we have to keep a record of that?
Depends on the certification of what chemicals are applied, like different weed killers, you have to be certified to use a lot of commercial weed killers and fertilizers.
Okay.
That's part of the duties, would be that the person is certified to use it, whether it's a maintenance person or anybody else, its records are kept of that.
Okay.
So we adhere to state and federal regulations for fertilizers and weed killers.
So Joe, should 14 read certification to be able to maintain records of fertilizers and chemicals?
Or just to apply, wouldn't it?
Well, you have to be certified to apply it, but so like if you contract with somebody, there should be something in our files that said, we used Roundup
Yeah.
on this, or we used this or that. That has to be because it's public property. And that stuff is nasty stuff.
Okay, so even if it's like an over-the-counter fertilizer, it still has to be logged and maintained.
Depending
Well,
on what
it should
is.
be.
Okay.
It should be, yes. And there's stuff you can buy on the border of some of these vegetation killers. And if you buy a certain quantity, they usually don't question it. So there's some stuff out there that's nasty that the feds haven't regulated yet tightly.
Okay.
Question for you on this, since you are a historian for the most part. Have we ever used anything major for mosquito control at any time?
Not that I'm aware of. Usually any type of mosquito control we did was through the township.
Through the township, okay.
The donuts.
Pellets.
And we
Yeah.
also
Pellets.
took care of any tires laying around or anything
Okay.
like that.
So no sprays by the state, county, or
No.
anything like that?
The
Okay.
only
would-
we sprayed on stuff was when we cut out Russian olive, autumn olive.
Yeah.
We sprayed some killer on that, but that was all certified stuff. But we also, we're supposed to keep record of that too, as far as I know, on invasive species.
So
Right.
did we, that you know of?
I
keep
don't know,
records?
I don't know.
Okay,
Because that was up to our
right.
administration, not up to our legislative end.
Right.
One thing I would like to interject on, because the last 6 months have been just, is at least once or quarterly, safety tour, safety and evaluation of our buildings and stuff. You know, is there any slip and fall hazards? Is everything put up on shelves or put away properly?
OSHA stuff, huh?
Yeah, and, well, it's so much OSHA stuff, but just, when I worked at General Motors, we had a monthly safety tour with union and management. And we found things that nobody was aware of, that were run by OSHA, and we'd say, okay, we got this wire hanging out of the ceiling, some of y'all better look at that, it could be hot. But over the years, we've never done that, you know, going through and said, you know, the back room of the guard shack is a mess, you know?
So,
stuff like
but that wouldn't be a job description thing, that would be like the commission, a
It'd
duty.
be one of our
the commission.
duties and responsibilities as a board.
Oh, as a commission,
Oh.
okay.
And I would
gotcha.
say, you know, if we can't do it monthly, before or after a meeting, we should do it quarterly and say, hey, what's all this junk behind the pole barn, or how come the vegetation isn't cut back? We have responsibilities to our insurance companies to keep leaves and stuff away from the buildings, fire hazards, stuff like that.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's a great
So
one.
we
So
should-
would we have to set up a commission to do that? Because we couldn't, all
No.
7 of us go.
You're just saying, at least a couple,
But it would
three?
probably be better if we set
That's
up,
when we used to have safety tours. I've done it in job shops too. We just took one guy from the union or one guy from here
Right.
and management. We walked around and said, hey, that's not kept right. We got tippy stacks in the warehouse that are, you know, so somebody's gonna get killed or hurt. So it's just keeping everybody aware of if there's any foreseen problems or liabilities on the
Hornet's
property.
nest better.
So-
Yeah.
You know, that might be a good idea to like, when we hire the new supervisor, like maybe one of us go out with the supervisor, like you said, quarterly.
Yeah.
Quarterly,
Yeah,
yeah.
start
Maybe,
from the
you know,
beginning.
we'll figure it out, you know, okay,
Right.
Joe, you're gonna
Oh,
go
we could
this
each take
day,
one.
Sean will go this day.
That's not a bad
And,
idea.
and
Different
so
ideas.
that way we're not bombarding this poor person with,
Right.
you know, multiple
And the one thing
safety.
is that if we revolve it through the commission, everybody gets a chance to see what's going on.
And there's a
Right.
different set of
It's
eyes
a
looking at it.
training-
Yeah.
Yeah,
training
exactly.
issue. You know, I've been through training on all that stuff through OSHA and everybody else, so.
It actually might be a better idea to like do 2 people where one person does it 2 times in a month, and then you just, that way you have a little continuity
So
built into it.
your month, you go twice.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, like, if it was Joe and you, you would both go, and then Courtney and Kathleen would go, and then Kathleen and Courtney would, or Courtney and me would go, and so on. That way we'd have a little continuity from month to month.
And it
And
doesn't
see
take
that
long.
things were done,
Right,
changed.
It might take an hour to go through the whole facility,
yeah,
you know, and once we get it up to snuff.
right. It'll go a lot quicker once we get everything back to
Oh, yeah.
running smoothly.
Yeah. But I suggest that in our board with the new supervisor.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's a great
No, I
idea.
do too.
Because I know that there's a laundry list of things that still need to be done to maintain, even not to mention safety things.
Right.
Yeah, so, okay.
Well, since this was to get the description out, I'm actually pretty happy with the way.
If everybody's happy, then I guess we can adjourn.
All right.
What about, does it mention training or hiring new employees?
Or ongoing training, didn't our former director attend conferences and whatnot like that, the ability
Yes.
to
Professional,
Professional
professional
development.
development?
But I don't think that's a job description.
No, but it's part of the things that they would be expected to do, right?
Oh, it's what something we would offer. I
I
don't
think
know
that
if I
should
would
be-
force them to go.
Well, the biggest thing too is if we start with a basic supervisor and want them to evolve into something more like
We can
get certification
expand on
in
that.
art or parks and recs or go to the meetings like Tony did,
Archery.
where you learn different things and what grants are out there and different things. You know, that we have to make this an evolutionary thing because we're gonna go from supervisor maybe to director.
and,
Give somebody, give somebody something that they
To grow
can see a
into.
promotion with. You say, hey, I'm just gonna be a supervisor the rest of my life, but I'd like to be more, because if you know more, you get more money-wise.
Joe just hit it on the nose. It's gonna be an evolution.
Right.
So don't try to cover everything all at
Right.
once here.
Okay.
Just
Right.
go, and see how, because it could be
We can
different
always
for
change
what
it,
person
too.
you hire too.
Right.
You might find somebody that says, that's not really, I'm interested in, it's like, so.
Well, it's gonna be hard if we put out the description for a unicorn and we're just looking for a unicorn.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, it's like, and something also to keep in mind too is that, you're gonna look at some candidates and some of these, they're gonna look really strong on it, some of them are gonna be like, eh.
Well, that's what we build on.
Yeah, so I mean, that's, let's don't get ourselves too caught up. It's gotta be 100% all the way down the line.
This is
That's it.
this is gonna be different than a production-oriented facility. We're making widgets and flower pots. You're gonna make 2,000 flower pots a week, and here's what it's gonna cost you to make them. It's not that cut and dry.
No.
Right.
It's a
Exactly.
big overview of what we want to be and what we were gonna have them to become.
Right.
Yeah.
I think this is a good start here.
Yep, I think so too.
Okay. Everybody
you
good
guys?
then, or? Good, Donna? Okay. Joe, you good too?
Pardon?
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll adjourn then.
6:14.
No, we've been with the perforated valve for about 10 days, but it got to the point we're not sure what caused it.
Did you
And
hear
the thing